So, have you ever found yourself dreaming about working in Japan? Surrounded by that incredible mix of ancient temples and hypermodern tech? Well, you are definitely not alone. But here's the thing, turning that dream into a real paycheck requires a solid plan. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to break down how you can actually build a career in Japan, step by step. Let's get into it. And it's really no surprise, right? This amazing blend of old and new, of serene tradition and nonstop innovation. It's a massive magnet for professionals all over the world. But to really make it there, you need more than just the desire. You need a smart strategy. So here's our roadmap. First, we'll talk about why Japan is so keen on hiring foreigners right now. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the job hunt. After that, we are going to untangle that infamous visa process. We'll also dive deep into Japanese work culture, which is crucial. And finally, we'll get real about the money and the challenges. Sound good? Let's go. Okay, so first things first, why is now such a golden opportunity to make a move? The answer is pretty simple. Japan isn't just passively accepting foreign workers, it's actively and urgently looking for them. Let's dig into why. The biggest reason behind this open invitation is a massive demographic shift. Japan has one of the world's most rapidly aging populations and a low birth rate. And what that means is they have a serious labor shortage on their hands. It's a huge national issue, and bringing in skilled workers from abroad is a key part of the solution. And get this, in a lot of industries, the job-to-applicant ratio is actually higher than 1. Think about that for a second. That means there are literally more open jobs than there are people applying for them. It's a complete flip, turning Japan into a market where job seekers actually have some serious leverage. So where are all these opportunities? Well, you've got the classic routes like English teaching or tourism, which are great. But honestly, the real game changer right now is the tech industry. IT is absolutely booming, and a growing number of tech companies are adopting English as their working language. This creates a really direct and accessible pathway for talent from overseas. Okay, so the opportunity is there, it's real. But how do you actually grab it? Let's switch gears and put together your playbook for a successful job hunt. You're going to want to attack this from 3 angles. First, hit the online job boards that are made for foreigners. Sites like Gaijinpot and Daijob are your best friends here. Second, and this is a big one, connect with recruitment agencies. Specialists like Robert Walters or Hayes have access to jobs that you will never see advertised publicly. And third, you got a network. LinkedIn is becoming more and more important in Japan, so get that profile looking sharp and start connecting. And hey, don't just take it from me. Listen to this tech professional from Canada who's working in Tokyo. They said a recruitment agency was the key. Not only did it unlock those hidden jobs, but the agency also prepped them for the unique Japanese interview style. That kind of insider knowledge is, just like they said, invaluable. But you might be thinking, what if my Japanese isn't that great? Don't sweat it. You've got options. Seriously. Beyond teaching, fields like IT development, research, and any kind of international customer service, they often care way more about your hard skills than your language level. The big takeaway here is that you don't need to be fluent to get your foot in the door. All right, you did it. You got the job offer. Awesome. Now comes the part that everybody dreads, the paperwork, the bureaucracy, the visa. But honestly, don't be intimidated. We're going to pull back the curtain and show you it's actually a pretty logical path. The single most important thing you need to know about is this, the Certificate of Eligibility, or COE. Now, this isn't your visa. Think of it as the golden ticket for your visa. The best part? Your new employer in Japan applies for it on your behalf. Once that's issued, it basically tells the embassy that Japanese immigration has already given you the green light, making the rest of the process almost a formality. So here's how it all plays out. First, you get that job offer. Then, your company handles the COE application in Japan. Now, this part takes some patience, usually 1 to 3 months. Once that COE is in your hands, you just take it to the Japanese embassy in your country, and they'll issue the visa. See? It's a straight line, and the hardest part is just waiting for the mail. Okay, so you've got the job, you've got the visa, you're set, right? Well, now comes the real adventure, actually fitting in and thriving in a Japanese workplace. Let's start cracking the culture code. This quote just hits the nail on the head. Your long-term success in Japan isn't just about how good you are at your job. It's about how well you can read the room, understand the unspoken rules, and navigate the cultural landscape. This is where people really succeed or struggle. And this right here is one of the biggest differences. In a lot of Western offices, we're all about being direct and to the point. In Japan, the priority is often preserving group harmony, what they call wa. This means communication is more indirect and decisions are made by building consensus, not by a boss just giving orders. Understanding this one thing will save you so much confusion.
And of course, the language itself is your key to unlocking all of this. The gold standard for measuring your ability is the JLPT, or Japanese Language Proficiency Test. And while any effort to learn is good, the magic number for most professional jobs is N2. Hitting N2 proves you can handle a business environment, and it opens up a whole new world of job opportunities.
All right, time for our final section. Let's ground this dream in a little bit of reality. We need to talk about the practical stuff, how much things cost, what you can expect to earn, and some of the common challenges you're probably going to face.
Let's talk money. As you can see, salaries can be all over the map depending on your field. Unsurprisingly, finance and tech are at the higher end, while something like English teaching offers a more modest, though often very stable, income. The most important thing is to do your research for your specific role so you know what to expect.
And you've got to remember, how much you make is only half the story. The other half is how much you spend. And where you live makes a massive difference. Living in Tokyo is way more expensive than living in a smaller, regional city like Fukuoka or Sendai. Choosing to live outside the capital can take a lot of financial pressure off. And honestly, it can sometimes offer a more authentic, immersive experience.
Look, it's really important to go into this with your eyes open. The most common hurdles people face are things like the day-to-day language barrier, getting used to a very hierarchical office, and feeling a bit like an outsider. But please, don't let this list scare you. Just being aware that these challenges exist is the first, most powerful step to overcoming them.
So, there it is, the opportunity, the strategy, the process, and the reality. The road to a career in Japan has its challenges, for sure, but it is also an incredibly rewarding experience. It takes a lot of preparation, a ton of patience, and a really open mind. We've laid out the map for you. The only question left is, are you ready for the journey?